Yeah. Hi, hello. Here we are. We're back. It's back on the proper day that is being recorded, unlike last week where it was stuff happened.
I think last week was also a matter of let's delay it because of the heat and tiredness.
Yeah, there was tiredness, heat. There were guests in Hamburg. We either of us were either too busy or exhausted to do it, and then
Yeah,
we did it
actually,
later.
I preferred to go have a halloumi sandwich with Raddy and Chef and Julian.
Really? Wow. Jeez.
If I'm perfectly
That's
honest, yes. That's what I
wow.
did instead of doing the
Wow.
podcast with you.
I don't know what to say to that, honestly.
We went to the
Come.
park too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was there for that.
Yeah, but we
That's
went to another park where you were
oh
not
wow,
invited.
wow, rude, rude. You went to the good park when I wasn't around. You
No,
kept the good park for when Shalama wasn't around. Yeah, that's
no,
how it
this.
that it's fine. I'm used to it. I'm used to it. It's
Yeah, we
fine.
sat in a
It's
field,
fine.
pretended to be students. We went to the shittier park that is very scruffy, and
Hmm.
then and there's nothing really there, like no flowers, barely
Hmm.
grass.
Yeah, yeah. Try to make me feel better. It's fine. Yeah, yeah. You don't have to. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I actually think I asked you if you wanted to join, and you said you weren't going to go out anymore that day. So,
Yeah, that's actually true, but that's not what we're talking about here, okay?
well, you sounded pretty invested in the topic once you
Anyway,
found out you were left out.
anyway, how's your week been so far? You gotta ask the pertinent questions first.
Hard to say. I don't really have much of a time perception this week. I don't know what happened. Did stuff happen?
I don't know. Stuff sometimes happens. I mean, it has the tendency to, at least.
I
Stuff.
can tell you what I spent my day doing, at
Yeah.
least today. I
Well,
um
shoot.
I think I spent at least half of the day obsessing over trying to create like several versions of a like key art, not even key art, I don't know what you call it, like an asset, like a storefront card for something, because we're
Like art
finally
of a
putting
key.
out, huh?
Art of a key.
Art of a key, yeah. I was just drawing keys all days, going into keyholes. No, but we're like finally releasing this goddamn grass acid version 2.0 this week. I told the other guys we are putting this out at the end of the week, no matter how much presentation stuff we have for it, because we've spent, I think, at least double the amount of time that we said we would on it.
So you're finally releasing the grass ass.
The grass ass, yeah.
Well, that's nice. Getting stuff out there.
Yeah, but I spent like Jan and I, we spent so much time just like making. We opened up Figma and we just started making different
Figma what?
Figma what? I never thought about Figma that way until now. Thanks. Figma
Yeah.
balls, yeah.
It works better in German because it's closer to.
To Fig, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. You weren't supposed to say it. You were supposed to leave people guessing.
But people don't all speak German, and then the joke
No,
would be
that's the
lost on
point.
them.
No, that's the point.
Well, I don't agree.
Gotta not give them everything. Gotta keep a little bit of mystery, and that's what
Nah,
keeps it fresh.
I lay everything bare. I
Wow.
don't keep
Well, you heard it.
secrets.
You heard it
I
here.
don't
Yeah.
keep things hidden.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, fine. Sure.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
kind of half sad that this is a podcast because I actually feel like showing people the bajillion versions that we have and
Oh
asking
no!
to pick one,
Please.
but that's the worst thing to do
That will
because
be
everybody's gonna
so
have.
painful.
Yeah, and they're
That
also
would.
like not massively different. It mostly is just like
Uh,
different colors and places where we
uh,
put logo and text, and it's
that's
like,
like the equivalent of inviting people and then not telling them that they're going to show them your very boring photos of your holiday that were not interesting because you just photographed like your feet in different places or
yeah,
like
or if you show
the
them
wall.
pictures of your baby or something.
Yeah, or like you look. Oh, this is. There's more pictures of my guinea pig.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like, that's what I spend most of my day with, just trying to fucking fiddle with this thing. And then I spent another quarter of it fiddling with the grass itself, how it's colored and how dense it is, how it's distributed. And I've been spending days on that too.
Sounds like analysis paralysis.
Yeah, it is. And I think as a group, we are being plagued by that.
I actually, I'm not sure if that's the right word. I just really wanted to say that word.
I mean, it's a pretty good word.
It's a pretty good word.
It's a phrase, technically, but
phrase. That's true. Yeah, it's a pretty good phrase. It's a pretty good phrase.
It's almost a pretty good podcast name.
I mean, it's not.
But it exists. So
of course it exists. Of course it exists. I don't know. Yeah, it's the eternal. It's a very fitting thing to acknowledge at this stage that this podcast, as of this point, even if it might have an intro now when it goes up, at this point that it's recorded, it certainly doesn't have a name.
No, we are paralyzed. We have analysis paralysis about naming this podcast.
Yeah.
But at least right now, I posted the title. It's called The Weekly Shalancast or Spider Cats and Salami.
Yeah. And I the problem is, I'm at this point now that I cannot tell you what is good. I've thought about it too much.
Same.
Another German-ish thing that people say is to zerdenken something. You think it apart. Yeah, you think too much about it, and then it scatters. Like the thought loses focus. You thought about it so much that you cannot see a clear answer anymore. It's literally too much. You explored it too much. You cannot focus on any meaningful path to take.
That's a pretty good word, but I would think that denken actually means like to think it to death, to like destroy it by overthinking.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's
very fitting, to be honest, because that is kind of what we're doing.
I guess more like think about it so much that you exhaust it, and it's just,
Yeah.
At least that's how I used it. I'm sure there's other meanings to it. I don't even know, man. When it comes to language, I sometimes feel like I use words, but do I use words good? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what is a good use of a word anyways? Like, that's who's going to rate your words?
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason this week that has actually occurred in my brain a few times that in some context people use words in ways that weren't their intended meanings, but they had changed so much. Like a lot of words that we use for body parts, specifically a genitalia, that have become vulgar, like also insults and stuff. Like calling somebody a pussy, that is a word that we associate with genitals now, but I don't think that's what it meant before or as.
Wait, did you go and look into the etymology of pussy?
Yeah, I did. Because I wanted to know why it would be offensive. I want to understand. There's a lot of words where people are like, you can't say that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, why? I guess that's the thing. Like these days, when I want to kind of tease somebody for lacking the courage to do something, I stop myself from using the term pussy because it's like it feels kind of sexist or like derogatory to women.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing with, I guess that only is that way because of how language operates, right? Because this is I have such a no, not that. It's more like I have a burning under my fingernails when it comes to that kind of, I want to type out a storm about it. I want to rant because
to rant about the use of pussy.
People being pedantic about words grinds my gears.
Yeah, I mean, that's exhausting.
There's some key moments in my memory where it's like a teacher that has been like, you used that word wrong. You're a fucking idiot. Like almost literally calling me a fucking idiot for using a word in the way that they didn't like me using it, even though that's the word that most people use it in, just because they were a German teacher. They took offense to somebody using language in a adapted, more socially accepted way. Like not accepted in a way of that's a better way to use it, but that's how a lot of people ended up using it. Like some words change meaning.
It's like some people want the specific words to not evolve, to just stay anchored in its ancient meaning. that maybe is like a century or more old. Like,
I think one of the more recent ones that you still get people getting really emotional about sometimes in comments and other places and conversations, even with friends or whatever. When people use the word literally to not be literal.
oh, that one is a big that's a
Yeah,
big
yeah. Did I
source
get
of.
you? Yeah, yeah.
No, I don't mind
No.
that one so much, actually. Like, I somehow that one doesn't really get me. If people don't mean literally but say literally, I don't really care because I think I do it too.
Hmm.
Like, literally seething right now. Yeah. But I saw other people, like, I saw actually this week, I saw somebody in a comment to some video I was watching on Instagram. So the lady in this video was just talking about feeling insane because she tried this
Hmm.
color, like hair color changing software, and she actually thought she looked pretty great in blonde, and she was asking people, what do I do? Do I actually switch to blonde? I've never been blonde. I'm feeling kind of insane right now, trying to decide this.
Hmm.
And people, some comment was like, can we please abandon the use of insane?
Because it's not clinically insane. It's just irrational.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that also felt like, I get where this person is coming from, and I get that calling yourself insane or feeling insane is kind of like also distorting that meaning way too much. But it also felt like I don't really know why you're getting triggered by that.
It's most of the time it's just somebody uh somebody just got up at on the wrong side of the bed, and they just were irritated by something irrationally, and they got for no reason insanely triggered by something and needed to make an angry comment on it. I
I
think
don't
that's
know. I mean,
most
I
of
don't think that
people.
person was super angry, but it was still something that clearly ground their gears.
Yeah, I mean, they're irritated by it and they have opinions and they need to say. And sometimes I feel like people just want to stir shit up because they need that at that moment because they're frustrated. Like
And
half the
I'm sure
time
you
or
can
more,
I'm sure you
I'm
can
sure
relate
that's
to
the case.
that.
Yeah, I can for sure because I used to post on Reddit quite frequently and then I stopped. And it most of the time I just get annoyed at things. So I browse subreddits that are about getting annoyed at things. And then I kind of just grew past that. And I got into a point of my life where I was like, you can say literally to figurative stuff because it's in the dictionary now to just mean not literal anymore. It actually is documented now as hyperbole. It's an extreme or figurative, basically. It's accepted socially, but there's people that will die on that hill still, even though the battle has already been lost. They get back up and they start shouting, even though the other people that have been fighting were already leaving to go get tea. And that they're fighting a battle nobody is defending anymore because it's already been decided, basically. And I think that's the same for stuff like insane. That's like a word you use as hyperbole as well. So people are always going to use that.
I don't
And
know.
people want to.
I find like I find that all of these words that some people have like more offense about than others. I think all these words are basically kind of social negotiations, and like the majority or whoever is more vocal is going to win a certain battle. But like there's so many words that do mean offensive things to certain people. Like you could
Mhm.
say that about that with like idiot, insane, whatever. Like the R word, that's the biggest example of that, because like now you don't say that word anymore
That's a
because
weird one because that word is like the most canceled, uncanceled word that exists. It the only like I don't use it because I guess I'm in social circles where I felt like that was inappropriate at some point. Like at some point I decided also the German equivalent is simply a word that you just don't use. And I've reprimanded friends for it because it just felt like it's no longer the time to just throw that word around, even though people that are like 30 now, they used to say a lot of weird shit when they were in school because everybody did. And now they're reflecting upon it or they keep doing it. I like that's the two ways to go about it. But a lot of those words, they didn't there's just a group in society that doesn't like them and doesn't like using those words. And then there's another group that doesn't care and doesn't police themselves and just doesn't surround themselves with people that police them for it. And I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. It's instead of having words that just like the N word or stuff like that, that's entirely unacceptable. That is a consensus, and anybody that does it is factually just a bad person for doing that in that regard. And with those other words, like the R word and stuff, words like that, it's more like a that's just people that use it, and there's people that don't use it. I think there's nobody that polices that. If you use it on Twitch, there's massive streamers that use that word. Like some of the oldest streamers with the biggest audiences use that word, and there's no repercussions at all. There's nothing policing that at all.
Yeah, it's interesting because those really seem highly dependent on social circles rather than
Yeah.
I don't know, platform and enforced.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's some creators that if they use that word, their communities would ostracize them and they would be canceled. But then there's creators that are way bigger that still have like what I consider they are not homophobic, they're not transphobic, they are just generally normal people. But that word, like the R word specifically, is was one I noticed. It's just a word they still like using, even though, yeah, I don't know. It's strange. Like that word in specific, actually, I would say. It's just one of those. I think society hasn't decided on that one somehow.
Hmm.
I think even idiot has a history in medicine or something. I don't know.
I know that Cretan had, but I don't know if people still call each other Cretan anymore.
Hmm.
Because that's a very abusive word, and it is a dated word that is about a person with a medical, like a mental and development impairment, basically.
Yeah, idiot, imbecile, and moron are also used to be used in a psychological classification system.
Yeah.
And it has a literal classification from 1912 by Edmund Burke Huey. Idiots, those so defective that the mental development never exceeds that of a normal child of about 2 years.
Hmm.
That's an idiot. Is not smarter than a 2-year-old.
You know
And
what?
that yeah.
What's cool though, there's Cape Cretan.
Wow, is that
Yeah.
I
It's
think
in Papua
Cretan
New Guinea though.
I hear people say that word all the time still. It's mostly in the regards to have a lacking artistic skill or being like a hack when it comes to being artistic. Or someone that doesn't appreciate art or something, I think,
Oh,
is where I get
really?
it.
Because like
Yeah,
my
I think
association with the word is more like you're like more in the direction of imbecile or idiot, just very stupid.
yeah, I guess the German translates it as directly to Cretin. I've never heard that word in German. Or Schwachkopf, which is just idiot.
Hmm.
Or it literally means weak head, for obvious reasons.
I might have the charge with that term because it was used kind of like in my childhood, like kind of in
Okay.
Romanian too. People would say stuff like that about each
Oh,
other.
yeah. In German,
So
it's not a frequently used word. In English, it feels fairly common still. I don't know. Do you want to know about imbecile and moron?
mhm, sure.
Imbecile, idiots were people that have the mental age of a 2-year-old
Yeah.
development. Then imbeciles are those whose development is higher than that of an idiot, but whose intelligence does not exceed that of a normal child of about 7 years.
Damn, so they literally have these things
Yes, they're
classified by
classified by
age.
age. I think imbeciles are basically stupid as a dog, or barely smarter than a dog. I think.
Wait, so are you saying that dogs are
Or
smarter than
dolphins.
2-year-olds? I guess they
What's
are.
the yeah? Dogs are about as smart as a 2.5 year old child. So an idiot is just as intelligent as a dog. An
Yeah.
imbecile is smarter. It's probably as
Okay.
smart as a dolphin.
Great. I love this conversation. What about moron?
Yeah, well, moron is the highest. That's the intelligent one under the idiot, imbecile, moron hierarchy. What if we categorized all of humanity in those terms, and we base it on social decisions, how tolerant and nice they are? I don't know. That's a weird territory. Never mind. Morons, those whose mental development is above that of an imbecile, but does not exceed that of a normal child of about 12 years.
Okay. Well,
So
the thing
morons are
is,
basically stuck in puberty or before puberty, I guess.
yeah, interesting. But the thing is that this is talking about like mental development, which does, I think, I mean,
Mhm.
I don't really know how that works in humans, if it has like a certain age where stuff kind of like is fully developed. Like, I don't know if that was like 20, early 20s for people or something like this.
25 is when you mentally are matured. It's all downhill from there, but that's your peak, apparently. That's how long your brain develops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would classify humanity in these steps from 0 to 25.
Yeah, I wonder what's higher than an imbecile. Did they go further? Because I can't really find that.
No, higher than a moron.
Oh, higher than a moron. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know. But that's all been non-professionalized. Those terms are now just colloquial terms. They are no longer specifications. I once had a therapist and I was tired, I was just exhausted, and I described something I had done as manic, and she got insanely angry at me. Wasn't a good therapist, by the way. Not didn't have a good relationship with that therapist.
No, I wouldn't imagine so if that was the
Got
response.
offended and then ranted at me for using the word manic loosely because it has a very defined definition. Like it's very specific to something that is very severe, but I was using it like recklessly in hyperbole. And it is apart from telling me that that's a bit extreme, she just it really went all out on me. That was so weird. And yeah, people do that all the time. Like I know that a bunch of people in my life use those words as hyperbole. I've heard people described like that, and I've heard people describing themselves like that. Just like people keep saying they have OCD, but like 90% of those people don't. They for sure don't. They're probably just mildly neurodivergent, which is, I guess, a lot of people these days.
Yeah, I don't even know where, neurodivergence is really a thing or where you just have like phases.
I don't know. I think that's something that we actually cannot really fully decipher. I think we're like in the middle or like at the beginning of understand that part of how the brain what is normal for a human brain. I don't think we know that. So it's really hard to say where neurodivergent begins. What is neurologically normal? How do you find somebody that's neurological normal?
I don't
Like
know. I
someone
mean,
that
I'm
is
sure
able to
psychiatry has some
Mhm.
kind of like terms or descriptors for that, but I also think that a lot of their like classification is too, it really tried to be precise, but they kept finding out that stuff is not as classifiable, or that stuff shares symptoms more than they thought, or
Yeah,
traits.
and if you think about anybody that experiences depression and people around them don't have empathy and support towards that, which makes them feel like they have a mental illness. While I feel like depression is probably quote unquote normal, it's like a response, a stress response, probably. Like I'm no psychologist, but I think anybody can get depressed. They might not be aware of it if they claim that they never get depressed, but I think depression is relatively normal. It's just the severity that is gets into territory where this has to be managed. But if I don't sleep for a while and I'm not depressed, then I do get depressed. It's some people are like chronically depressed, and that's a huge problem. But I think anybody can get depressed. So can you get neurodivergent for a temporary amount of time?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think generally though with depression, I mean there's the term chronic depression, so but and acute depression, but I don't really
Yeah.
know how short the episode has to be to count as acute depression.
hmm I mean, we've observed relatively smart animals become depressed as well. We've seen monkeys get depressed, show at least behavior that are equivalent or similar, where they become listless or whatever. I don't know.
But
How
let's
do you?
let's circle back to animals and where this whole conversation started, the term pussy.
Oh God.
You were going to tell us something you found out about the term, the origins of the term.
Yeah, I need to look it up again. I was looking, I was researching that in like an English language forum, and someone summarized a bunch of different sources, and it came down to it being from an old term, like it's a diminutive of pusillanimous, which
What?
is a very long word. Pusillanimous, Pusillanimous. Yeah, moose. Pusillanimous.
Pusillanimity.
Yeah, and it's defined as showing a lack of courage or determination, basically. And that's apparently one source that is assumed. And the other source that is assumed is, which Wikipedia also claims, is the word Pursy, Pursy, which also is closer to the meaning we use now. And it says that the word pussy can also be used in a derogatory sense to refer to a male who is not considered sufficiently masculine.
But
Yeah, and that it's
the
derived from that.
definition that I
Basically,
find about Percy
yeah.
is different. It's more like it says short-winded, especially because of corpulence. So this is like maybe I'm
So that makes it
misunderstanding the spelling.
that. Well, this one says when used in this sense, it carries the implication of being easily fatigued, weak, or cowardly.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, it's just used to say someone is like a lightweight or something, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it has no connection to the genital. And puss is a word used for cats, and it just at some point it just became used as I think 19th century. It says it became slang for female pudenda.
By the 18th century, it was extended to refer to genitalia.
Yeah, this one says like 1879. It was slang for female pudenda, but probably older.
Podenda.
Perhaps from Old Norse, pus, meaning pocket or pouch.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's a lot of those things are just words for pouches and caves and whatever.
Yeah. Cage. I hate that.
In a medical sense, the word vagina is used for the actual meaning is a lot, like invagination. Like there's a depression, basically. That's what it
Mm.
is. But it kind of like geometry wise, I guess, is more where it comes from.
The thing is, I'm trying to find your source for this information because I'm looking at the entry for pussy on wikipedia.org and it doesn't mention anything about pusillanimity.
Let me look which these sources are. Well, the person that summarized this up didn't give a source for the pusillanimous, but it just say many people believe that, and it is a word, and it does mean cowardly and such.
Because Wikipedia gives you etymology from 15th century
Mhm.
because they were using the modern English word puss
Well, the
to
other
refer
source
to a
is the
cat.
online etymology dictionary.
Etym online.
This one, yeah, etym-online. That's the one that describes it like that, with the old English and everything. There, the 1690 puss was a diminutive for cat, also used of a rabbit. That's weird. Okay, well, it's a term of endearment for a girl or woman from the 1580s. Yeah, that's the same in Germany. Like there's grandpas around, and when I grew up, that would call their wives mushy because that's the
Ah!
German equivalent to pussy,
Oh,
which is
God.
my most hated German word. I hate that word with a passion. Anybody that uses it in the context of genitalia, it makes my spine jump out of my body and run away. Makes me
Yeah,
collapse.
yeah.
That's how the sensation of my skin crawling is. That just rips open my spine, walks away. Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah,
It's
it's
literally
I
as if you would call your wife now pussy.
yeah,
But still, the
yeah.
etym online does not connect pussy with pusillanimous.
No, that's what I said. There's no connection I can find for that.
So this
It's just
this source
no, on
that
the right side it says dictionary entries near
well
pussy.
near doesn't mean that they are sharing origin though. These are
Yeah, other
just
than that, I don't know.
neighboring definitions.
Yeah. Yeah, we've gone on to this topic for way too long.
You also have pussy whip,
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
attested by 1956.
If this is weirdly the etymology online thing, the online etymology dictionary is really not that different from Urban Dictionary. It's really not that different.
I mean,
It's
it just
because
records use of words in a specific
yeah,
way, just
exactly.
like
And
Urban Dictionary.
yeah, and this is I don't know who moderates this. I don't know who is the person in charge of verifying anything, who is editing this, because in the Urban Dictionary stuff is voted up and down, so it makes sense. I mean, you can exploit it there for sure, but it's based on consensus.
Well, I'm guessing that with dictionaries and stuff like this, they actually have literary researchers and
Hmm.
historians and stuff actually like providing sources for this.
Yeah, I
I would
suppose.
think.
What's interesting with newer words that come up in culture is when you look them up on Urban Dictionary, they often have like tertiary or like even older meanings, more different meanings that are entirely different from how they're used now. And they've been popular like 10 years ago in small circles, and someone has documented it on Urban Dictionary, but the word is not used not in any way in the same context as it is used now.
Well, I guess that one didn't manage to catch on. That's what I mean when I say
Yeah, I
that
guess. Yeah.
this whole thing, just like words are literally just a negotiation, like a social contract kind of.
Yeah, you know what really hit me like 2 weeks ago, like like a wet hot slap in the face.
That's very
Uh,
specific.
Starting Shadow of the Erdtree. Like I've only played one session on stream, and then I haven't touched it yet again because I was obsessed with Final Fantasy XIV's new expansion.
Oh my
Still
god, you're
am.
literally saying that Final Fantasy is more obsessive to you than
Yeah.
Elden Ring.
Yeah. Well, because the difference is Final Fantasy has told a 10-year story that I've been insanely invested in, while Elden Ring is like 2 years old. There's a bit of a difference there. It doesn't quite story wise. It doesn't make you shed a tear really. It doesn't really give you characters that you get to know very deeply. That's something that Elden Ring just doesn't do.
Did you shed
Very
tears to the latest expansion?
yeah. There's a few moments that are very good payoff for things that you've been waiting for a while for if you've been playing. But this is entirely in contrast to what I wanted to say, which is that Shadow of the Erdtree, the big old hot wet slap in the face, was when Try Finger But Whole, a decade old tradition of Dark Souls games, has been cast aside like yesterday's news, like something nobody cares about
Oh
anymore.
no, but I still care.
Like a whole a whole filled old stinky blanket, cast aside for a new cozy cuddly blanket of I want to go home and edge. That's the new
No.
phrase. Yeah. Yes. And that
Oh,
the
God,
the
of
awakening I
course.
had to the fact of how insanely fast edging and gooning have imprinted themselves on society became really obvious at that point. Because Elden Ring I consider a relatively mainstream game where people communicate through very unique means because you can put signs on the floor that are all created from preset sentence structures that you fill objects in, basically, and verbs, and some or like it's actually mostly just nouns, and edge is also a noun, so it works, right? So you can
Of
combine
course.
that. Yeah, you basically
But why
put
is there
things into
home in
sentences.
there?
Well, yeah, home is in there because there's many concepts in there. There's concepts, objects, animals, all kinds of things you can choose to put into sentences. That is basically like those things where you fill out a text that is missing words.
But as somebody who's never played either of those games, what is the interface for putting words in there? Like, why is it that, like, how big is the vocabulary that you can use?
Oof, I don't know. I have not really looked deeply into it, but whenever I saw it there's like hundreds of words you can choose from.
Yeah, but like, how do you just like, do you have this interface where you just start typing a word and it finds it if it's in the database, like where it shows you all
You
the.
choose. No, you go by. You open a soap sign or whatever they call it in Elden Ring right now. The signs that you can put on the floor. You open the menu by using the item to place those messages down. And I mean, there's an article I can probably just read way easier. They're like multiplayer communication thing. Can leave people messages basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where does it explain it properly? Message composition. There are 4 different message compositions the player can choose from, each varying the amount of available options. However, the 4th composition is generally the most convenient since it still allows a message to be placed even if only the slots that are available in the first 3 compositions are filled. So there's like 4 words you can fill, I guess.
But I want to go
It's
home, and
kind of
Edge has
complicated.
more words than that.
Yeah. How do I find a good source to describe the templates, I guess? You just fill in the stars, like there's like instead of like an empty space, there's like star, 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 or asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. And then you fill in that portion of a sentence. And then it's like something, something S of the something. So the template is just of the, basically. And then you can put in the first word and the last word. So it's the home of finger,
I
because those are
see.
words you can choose, home and finger. And I think you can also make them longer. There seems to be a way where you can use, there's just an and, I guess. And then is the try something, because you might want to, they probably plan for somebody to give a hint of, hey, there's a hard boss here. Try lightning. Try blood. Try rot. Some effect should be the boss is weak to.
Okay, but what is the template sentence structure for I want to go home and Edge?
I don't know. I don't know what structure that is. I mean, there's a lot of them. I don't. You want the specific one?
Yes.
I don't know how to find all the structures you can have. I really don't know. You are
I'm trying to
demanding way
Google
too
this.
much.
I'm trying to Google this, but it's not easy.
I'm googling Elden Ring message templates.
If only I had a giant butthole.
Yeah, if only is probably also one that exists. Okay, here are templates. Ahead, or no, ahead. Required ahead. Be wary of, try something, likely, So what you see often is likely friend or
I
likely
like your
enemy.
onomatopoeias for signaling that there's a gap.
And there are conjunctions. You can combine these because, for example, there's first off, and I know that some people do first off, then treasure, for example. They put treasure in there and they combine them, and that's how they make them happen. I don't know how you make I want to go home.
Yeah, I guess without having played the game, it's hard to understand.
Yeah, it's not important anyway. I don't know why you're obsessing over that bit.
Because sometimes I want to obsess over small
Oh,
details.
literally, I want to go home is an entire preset phrase you can use.
Ah,
And then you can use a conjunction which is and then. So you can do the phrase I want to go home, then use the conjunction and then you just look for a word from the there's concepts, there's body parts, there's directions, there's places, there's situations, actions.
well,
Edge
there
is not
you.
in the actions. Battle tactics, things, and people and enemies. Where's Edge? Edge is a direction.
Yeah, so you literally answered my very specific question of how you
Yeah, there
form
you
this
go.
sentence.
Oh, it was so
Perfect.
tedious, though.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
somehow kept motivated to get to the bottom of it for,
Well,
for some reason.
I knew that we wouldn't be able to move on if you didn't get satisfied for your need to understand.
You think so?
I think I've known you long enough to know that you need to know at that point.
Hell, I don't know. Some of my obsessions are not productive or beneficial in any way. But
No,
they
I
do
feel like it's
happen.
mostly when it's really not necessary. It really is
Well, I
mostly.
guess
I
you
know
get it.
it's like when I have an idea for an emote, and I know you're working and you've been moderating and sitting in my stream, but then you start making an emote for something for me, and I've not been asking you to do it, but it's the thing you obsess over instead of doing what you're probably supposed to do.
Well, it's another way of having the same kind of obsessiveness of what, like that kept me from doing other things today, and I made like 10 versions of a freaking card.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I
Yep.
kind of hate being creative or like making stuff, because I get too like tunnel visiony, and when you're in a tunnel, you can't escape.
Yeah, unless there's a living room for some reason with a window to the tunnel, and then you shouldn't look in there because for some reason that's part of an enemy.
You're making a JoJo reference.
Yeah, it's super stupid. It's still one of the most dumb things because
The
it's
fucking
I don't know.
living room in the traffic tunnel.
Yeah, and part
That's like one of
5.
the few memes that I know from JoJo.
I mean, no, it's part 4 of JoJo actually, isn't it? Yeah,
I don't
where
know.
they drive through a tunnel, and one of them sees a room, like a living room with a window to a living room in the tunnel. And they go back there to look at it, be like, what the heck is this? They find it, and as soon as they enter, for some reason they get pursued by a shadow of feet that is following them.
Shadow of feet.
Yeah, I mean that's like feet that follow you. And I think they go specifically like at the tempo of 65 miles per hour or something.
Oh yeah, you have
Very
to
specific
outpace
tempo.
them. Outpace
Yeah.
the feet.
And the feet sniff for you as well.
So that's how they detect where you are, by sniffing.
Yeah, I believe they sniff. I believe there's a sniffing sound you hear in the anime.
Oh god.
Yeah.
It's not it's the opposite of you sniffing feet.
Well, I don't sniff feet.
In Soviet Russia, feet sniff you.
That's slander. Turns out in JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, feet sniff you.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Well, should I tell you about my week so far? Now that we're
Yeah.
done with yours.
Yeah, you could say we're done with mine.
Yeah. I've been really anxiously waiting for the last year. Yeah, feels like
Last year. Wow, your week is
yeah. Last
a
week I
very
had a
long
very
one.
important appointment, and it went well, and I've been waiting to hear back about the result from that thing. And the person that organized it, I didn't know, like, the person that ultimately will manage and communicate all the outcomes and everything didn't tell me if she was going to be away
Oh
or anything.
no.
So I was just stressing, like, when is the answer coming, right? Looking at my emails every day, multiple times. And today I wrote an email, and I got an automated reply. I'm going to be back next week. Can you please not tell me that you're going to be on vacation instead
Oh
of letting me
shit.
stress out and not know when I'm going to get very important information? Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Well, that person just wanted to fuck off on holiday, you know?
Yeah, of course. And they didn't think about that because they probably had more pressing things on their mind, like, I don't
Like
know, sipping
holidays.
daiquiris down at the beach. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like holidays. And I've ordered shoes as well on almost a week ago. And when you order, the mail says, "Yeah, the shipment will be fulfilled very soon, like swiftly. It will be messaged. Just be, don't even wait
Wait, we already
on
jumped
it."
at shoes from like this news you were
Yeah,
waiting for.
yeah. I don't have more to say about that.
Okay. Just making
And
sure.
I'm just saying that I've spent my time waiting on stuff, which stresses me out. Like that's a brain thing I have. It's just I hate not knowing. I get so stressed out not knowing. I have such a hard time to chill out, especially when it's warm and uncomfortable. I've not been to the gym in a month. It's like, oh, please, let
Please,
my
a crumb
brain.
of gratification.
Yeah, please, a crumb of closure. Anything. Just knowing is something that I really appreciate. I ordered shoes because they were on sale, like from Reebok, like directly from them. I rarely order from places like that where I never like. I find it tedious to order from places I've not ordered from before when I don't know how well they will handle shipping and everything, because I have a lot of bad experiences with some online shops. And yeah, I ordered from the Reebok store, and they had a sale going on. I bought shoes for like a third off. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. Maybe these are finally shoes that will fit. My shoe odyssey of my shoes are falling apart because I have an impossible, humongous task of finding shoes that fit well. And I've been really anxious about finding out if these fit, and I'm excited.
I thought
And
you were gonna say you have humongous feet, but then you made it into a humongous task.
I don't have humongous feet. If people really care, it's like I think like a 12 in US size, I think. I don't know.
I don't really know US sizes. I
Yeah,
think mine
something.
might be something like a 7, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's like a 12 or something. That is, depends from shoe to shoe, from shore to shore, from shoe to shoe, shoe to shining shoe. Uh, yeah, I ordered them and they still haven't confirmed that they've been sent. Like they still haven't been sent. And I am so angry.
Oh,
What do you mean? It's been a week and you've not shipped the fucking shoes.
how dare. But yeah, that's the
Eh.
thing. When you actually order from like the actual manufacturer, sometimes they take longer than if you ordered from some store that just has a
Yeah,
stock of that
how?
stuff.
How? I order from them directly, their product in their warehouse. Surely they can handle shipping that in 3 days. I mean, not arriving here in 3 days, but at least getting it done to send out in 3 days. Surely they have the logistics for that. I have never ordered something that was this terrible. Like I ordered Magic cards recently. I don't even play Magic. I just found a really cute goblin card and like some fun, like a funny goat and some raccoon cards that I really really wanted to have.
That is so random,
And
Shala.
well, yeah, I just want nice things, and I didn't have a lot of money, and these are very cheap. You can have a very nice looking card for like $2, and it's not even that common. It's like it's in the relative dimensions of what this is. It's kind of valuable, even though it's just like $2.
Have
So
you
I
even
don't
ever
know.
played Magic?
Yes, I've played Magic Arena. I hated it.
Yeah, but isn't that like an actual PC game?
Yeah, and also
I mean,
it's not a
actual
good.
Magic, like the table.
No, I've not played actual Magic. I've been way too anxious for that, but I'm actually considering buying a real deck and giving myself the big old dare to go to a Magic shop here in Hamburg and play like Commander or something, or learn that with people. I have friends that play Magic. I've just never gone into it.
Well, maybe you can just ask your friends first.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just, curious if maybe I need a hobby that's in real life away from electronics. And maybe Magic is something that would be interesting. And you can not pay a lot of money for it if you want, because unless you're playing a tournament, you can just buy proxies, which are like €1 or less per card, like cards that you normally buy for like $1,000 or more, or like $100. You can just have someone print them for you,
Yeah, but that
and
only
they don't.
works if those people who are playing are allowing you to use proxies, right? Like,
Yeah, if they don't, that's just pedantry, and then I wouldn't want to play with them anyway. Why are you gatekeeping that the card I have wasn't bought properly? Like, who the fuck cares? This is as if you're playing football with somebody and they don't have real Nikes. Like, why do you care what shoes they wear?
yeah, but then if that was the logic, people would also not spend thousands of bucks on these
Well, they
cards.
do.
But that's
No,
the
but they do
point.
because the proxies are not allowed to look the same as the original cards. Like the card back on a real Magic card says like Magic the Gathering, and has all that official shit on it. Proxies are not allowed to have that. So you don't get the prestige of having a card that's actually rare.
Yeah, but if you get proxies, first of all, are these made also by the Wizards of the Coast or by
No,
just third
anybody can make
party?
them. Some people literally draw them themselves. There's people that take a forest, which is a very common resource card,
Yeah,
and they
actually, I
just
think
write,
Chaotic was doing stuff like that proxies then because
yeah,
Chaotic
chaotic.
has been making.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Chaotic has been a member of mostly your community that has done art for both of us. Yeah, they have done proxies. And you can literally just, I have tokens. And tokens, for example, are cards that just stand in for creatures you summon because you cannot have a card for everything another card summons. That's insane. You can use anything. Some people use little pieces of paper, dice. Other people buy tokens, which you can get from official sources, or there's people that just make very pretty tokens. Like artists sell you a token for $2. It's a card with very nice art on it. There's a David Bowie Jareth one that I found that someone made.
Oh, that's fitting for you.
I don't really like the artwork, sadly. But I could print out David Bowie from Labyrinth and make it Goblin King, a real card that exists in Magic the Gathering. It would have the same effect as the Goblin King, but it would have the artwork of the Labyrinth Goblin King on it. And that's a
Okay.
proxy.
It makes sense, but I guess that the community of Magic is kind of like, some of them are very tolerant with like just having proxies
Oh
or
yeah,
making your custom stuff and whatever.
there's
But I'm
always
also assuming,
gatekeeping assholes.
yeah, like I'm assuming there's also a lot of gatekeeping people because if they spend a lot of money buying original cards and rare cards,
Hmm.
they probably also want to keep others from playing with them who don't also have that kind of like status or whatever.
I'm fine with having that confrontation because I would then, in that situation, just simply not play with them. Because it's the same to me as, I don't know, it's you. What is a good analogy to that? Actually, I guess it's hating somebody because they have a fake Louis Vuitton
Yeah.
handbag, but it's obviously fake. It just looks similar because they like the look, kind of. I guess it doesn't really have the branding on it.
I mean, you could even go further and just be like, yeah, I hate somebody for not having a designer bag. They just
Mhm.
have a bag that's just utility.
I mean, the whole thing is that there are cards that are just insanely expensive and rare, and you cannot play them unless you own them. And I'm not paying $100 just so I don't get ruffle stomped by somebody else that plays a deck that has cards I can't afford, right? That's the big thing. And the Wizards of the Coast have said outright that they are fine with people using proxies.
But if you use proxies, that means that there's literally no rare card.
No, they are rare cards because the prestige exists. Owning the real thing is still much more of a thing than anybody can use a printer at home and make a card that looks the
No,
same.
I mean, like, if you're looking at it purely from playing the game
Yeah.
perspective, then you
Well,
literally can have any cards.
yeah, sure. That's the whole point, right? Because maybe you don't want to spend $500 getting that one card that you need 3 times to make your deck work.
Yeah, I just personally don't know how much Magic hinges on like having rare cards.
There's a format of Magic that's actually also the exact opposite. It's called. I learned about that today. Pauper, the Pauper cube or
Popper.
Pauper format. Yeah, like Pauper, like Pauper. I think.
I feel like I
Like
have to repeat the word you're saying because I don't think people would know what you're saying because you're saying it in such a, like, you're not saying the R.
Pauper,
Yeah, there you go.
Pauper. You know, poor people Magic, which
Yeah.
which is a format that only allows decks made out of common cards.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, which I think is actually kind of a fun idea because it's basically Magic saying "fuck your rare, expensive shit."
Yeah,
You
this
can't play that
the
here.
Popper format is actually on the Magic website, just
Yeah,
like
and then you
explaining
can
the
make your
rules
deck
and
for like
stuff.
$5 or something because some cards, common cards, just cost like 1 cent. Some of them
Yeah,
because they're
that's like the
effectively
gateway
worthless.
drug.
Yeah, I don't know. Like apart from a tournament, the people that I've consumed Magic content from so far, they are fine with proxies, and I You know, if you play with somebody and they're like, "You're not allowed to play against me with an equally strong card deck. I need to be way better because I paid more money. Then I don't want to play with you." That's simply how it is. I don't want that to be gatekept like that. Imagine buying a card for $100 and then finding out you don't like the deck that you end up playing. What the fuck? That is, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, that's why I find the whole Magic thing kind of insane. Like paying for like such amounts for those cards.
Yeah. But Magic is also a fad right now. It's weird how many people I know, content creator wise, that now are getting into Magic. Some have only like started because of the pandemic for some reason. And I guess it's also a way to reconnect with people because you meet to play. It's an excuse, kind of.
I don't know what my in-person or like IRL hobby should be because like I don't
We can
think it
play
should
Magic.
necessarily be games again.
Yeah.
I
I
have this
might
exhaustion about game
hmm,
related stuff.
I might actually buy a commander deck in a new release that's much more cheap than buying a card deck out of like cards that are rare or whatever. It's
A
just
commander
already
deck.
ready made. Yeah, it's a format that you can play with like 4 people. It's a bit different than normal Magic, I think. It's supposedly the most popular format right now.
I
You can
see.
team up if you want, or like try to make it on your own or whatever. It's like a fun session that you can have with like 4 people. That's what I'm told.
Hmm.
And I
So
would give it a try.
I will have to wait for your invitation to play Magic, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I know personally other people that play Commander, but it would be interesting, I guess. That's something to try. I don't know. Maybe that can be possible. You can do that remotely as well. They have an app that scans, you have a camera pointing down at your table that you have your cards on, and there's an app that actively scans and reads and understands every card you place and resolves things for you too and stuff,
Yeah, but
I
you
think.
can't use the app unless you've bought the cards.
Yeah, then you need the cards physically. Yes. I mean, you could technically feed a video in, I don't know, maybe tabletop sim, surely.
Because what if you just print those cards yourself and fool the app?
Yeah, sure. Why not? That's basically what proxies are anyway.
Yeah.
You just make very poor printouts. I mean, I used to know people when Pokemon was popular, actually, when I was a kid, that just had very poorly printed, like inkjet printer printed Pokemon cards. That existed too. I know that some kids tried to trade them, and that surely didn't work well. So here's my Charizard or Glurak, how we call it in German. It's super rare, but it's printed. It's worthless.
You know what I hate? I
No.
opened Amazon to look at the Commander deck.
Hmm.
And on this profile, on my streamer profile, my Amazon is full of cookie cutters that are shaped in the shape of butts, dicks, sperms, people screwing each other.
Why? You know what?
Because
You know
I
what would
looked
be?
for ass with ears last time.
Oh,
Oh, it's
yeah, I get
totally
it.
ruined.
I what I wanted in the past is there's some Warhammer 40k sets. I know there's like a Necron set and stuff, but I found it really hard to find them.
Wait, this is for
And
Magic?
yeah, Magic
Oh,
has
there's
Warhammer
crossover.
40k sets. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And the set that I'm getting might be getting is like animals, which has a bunch of raccoons in it and other cute and fun animal things.
of course, staying on
And
brand.
maybe one day, if I actually like it and play it, maybe one day you can have your Necron deck.
That would be kind of cool.
See, suddenly there's an interest there, a vague interest, but there's an in where it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it is
yeah,
so vague.
yeah, I know.
Such a faint interest.
Yeah, it is possible that I'll get it, I'll try it, and I'll hate it. It's literally possible.
God, I'm still looking at my Amazon. It's so bad. There are these phallus shaped wine glass cups,
Yeah.
and they're so bad. You're supposed to pour drink into this tiny hole at the top. It's so small.
Hmm.
Like barely a straw passes through that hole. Why would you? Oh, this is so dumb.
I'm actually not really listening because I fear that what I would hear if I did properly listen.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm sorry, but yeah, that's a safety mechanism I have to put in place.
No, you really shouldn't be listening.
That's that's yeah, directly swiveling over the attention to the listener.
I'm just
Yeah,
going to remove cookies and site data from Amazon right now.
yeah. There's still, also we'll have to finally set up cooking again. Yeah, too long
What?
of a hiatus of us doing
Yeah,
cooking
cooking
streams.
streams. Like, I literally bought these freaking wireless microphones because I thought we would also get to use them for cooking streams. And we haven't a single time. We haven't done that even once. I've had these for a couple
Yeah,
months now, just sitting in a bag after a
yeah,
maze.
yeah. Eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah, you wanted to do your anniversary.
I gave up on doing a like an affiliate anniversary because I didn't know what to do and when to do it, and I just was kind of like, whatever, we're gonna just pass.
Oof.
I would
Has
still
the
like to
window
do it.
passed?
Huh?
Has the window passed as well?
I mean, I could still do it retroactively. It's just like I still don't know
Mhm.
what I would do. I was thinking if we did a cooking stream, maybe I could at least use that excuse to be like, okay, this is also celebrating that I've been
Mhm.
streaming for 3 years as affiliate. But Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I also reached the goal of 500 followers a few days ago,
Ooh.
finally. So I could celebrate all of that.
Celebrate all of it, yes. I
So much
managed
to
to get
celebrate.
5 gift subs in my last stream, so because I promised to never say Milkies on my stream again. Or at least I didn't specify for how long I wouldn't say Milkies anymore.
That sounds like something you can milk forever.
The Milkies, yeah.
Yeah. If you every stream you milk people's desire to not hear that word,
Yeah,
you're gonna get
that's
pretty
true.
well off.
Well, there's specifically one member in my community that does not want to hear that word.
I see. Well, try the waters, see what other members of your community also feel like that, because you don't want to put all your eggs in one, all your milk in one basket,
Don't put all your Milkies in one basket, yeah.
all your milk in one butter. What do you call it? The thing you make butter in, a butter pump. No,
What? A churn.
a churn. Yes.
Yeah, a butter churn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you put milk in there, or what do you put in there to make butter?
Yeah, you put just raw milk
And you
in
beat
there,
your milk.
I think, and then you get the fats. Just I think because of the movement, the structure of the fats change and they like combine. I think.
I mean, technically it's cream, not just straight up milk. You have to get the
No, I
higher
think
fat layer.
I don't know. That's true. I
I
think
mean,
you
that's
can
what
make it from.
Wikipedia says.
Can you not make? Can you make butter from raw milk?
I mean, it probably works. You just want more fat in there.
Yeah, to make a kilo of butter, you need 25 liters of fresh milk,
Wow, that's a quite a big ratio.
or 2.5 liters of cream. I think cream is just a step of separating more of the fat from the milk already, so it's more efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, that's 10 times more efficient, so I would say that would be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, in factories, they have a bunch of in-between steps where they separate different products out, like whey and stuff like that. And quark is also like a byproduct and stuff. There's a lot of byproducts that get made into different products.
Quark, your beloved.
Quark, my beloved. Yes, I had quark before this podcast. No, I had like basically zero fat quark with applesauce and cinnamon. Delicious.
Damn, that sounds kind of good. I'm glad you didn't have it plain like you often claim to do.
Well, you know.
Well, yesterday,
sometimes
what I had yesterday that was special, let's call it that way, was I had toast with butter and sprinkles. I had two kinds of sprinkles, chocolate sprinkles and sugar sprinkles. And I like the chocolate one.
Oh, it's just bits of chocolate.
Yeah, like it had melted a bit into the toast. That was really tasty. But the sugar ones,
yeah,
I don't rate them.
But that got brought up by somebody from the Netherlands, as far as I remember, and those are not the same as just sugar sprinkles. I think they're actually more than that. Yeah,
they have aniseed flavored stuff, but they also have the chocolate ones.
Yeah, the chocolate ones make sense because they're not just sugar, you know. Sugar is crunchy, chocolate is melty.
But they also have sprinkles that they eat at like kids' birthday parties, and I think that might still be just sugar sprinkles.
Yeah, I guess.
They have sprinkles that have like,
I think.
I don't know.
It stemmed from a video where it talked about fairy bread from Australia, where they put sprinkles on buttered toast that is not toasted.
Oh, that was an Australia thing, not a Netherlands thing.
Pretty sure it was an Australia thing.
True.
And then the connection happened to somebody from the Netherlands saying that they have a product that's something hagel, which is just like a stuff they spread on bread. They sprinkle on bread. And it's
Hagelslag.
Hagelslag, yeah.
But those are literally sprinkles.
But they are fruity and stuff. Like they have proper
they
flavors.
have different types.
Sugar. Yeah. But I saw those different flavors and the chocolate ones, different chockies.
They have chocolade Hagelslag, Fruiten Hagel, and even milk chocolate Hagelslag.
Yeah, and those all don't sound like just hard sugar. So
no, yeah, but
sadly didn't see white chocolate though. But you know, people are not cultured enough to have that, I guess. You know.
True, white chocolate would also fit right in. Yeah, but that's part of my Like, I want to also try the fruit ones, but I don't know where to find them out in Germany. Like, if this is something you need to get imported from the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
But this is part of my toast. What do I call it? Toast travels? No, because I would have to
What?
travel somewhere. I wanted to call it my toast journey
Yeah, I was gonna say journey. Yeah,
because I've also tried the
just a small
British.
town toast living in a lonely toaster.
Great small time toast. Now
Spreading
you
that butter everywhere.
put that song in my head. How dare. The fruit ones kind of look like those things that you used to make instant tea out of. Did you have that as a kid? You had these like
Oh
weird
yeah,
little
yeah, yeah, yeah,
pellets.
yeah,
Not
yeah, yeah,
even
yeah, yeah,
pellets,
yeah.
but like little worms, little poops.
I used to call that krümel tea as a child. I loved that stuff. I had that. My mom gave me that for school, which probably was in hindsight terrible for me.
Yeah, I had that a
Uh,
lot too as a
I
kid.
ate that without liquid as well. I just ate that like that out
I
of it.
think
I
I
took a
might have as
spoon
well because it was just
and I just
sweet.
yeah, it's the same as basically the same as like Kool-Aid or something. But it was like lemon iced tea in my case,
I think we
I
also
think.
had it with other flavors, like probably peach was a lot of it.
Nestea, I think, was one of the big ones. Nestle does make it. Yikes. But yeah, other brands are available, thankfully.
Oh
I've
my
not
god,
had it
I'm
in a
looking
long
this up
time.
on Amazon and I'm actually finding that shit.
Which one?
Wow. Kid cherry banana instant drink.
Cherry banana. Wow, that's something
Oh,
that I would be interested in. That's probably
six
artificial as heck.
6 times 400 grams. You get a whole fucking year's worth of cherry banana drink. Or pink unicorn. That's just raspberry though.
Yeah, that's all bullshit. Those flavors only exist as a look at the colors, kids, kind of deal. There's so many like rainbow things that are just nothing. That the whole marketing is simply based on the appeal of the look of the thing.
Yeah. The ones that do sound good to me are strawberry kiwi and cherry banana and maybe cola orange. But like, I don't get if you're supposed to
That's
still make this with hot water because I don't think I
yeah,
want
no,
hot Coke.
I would make it with cold water. I sometimes make it with hot water as like a lemon sip thing, kind of. I put more lemon in it if I have a cold. The sugar doesn't help though, I think. Probably better to just make lemon sip stuff with honey.
True. But yeah, I tried. I was gonna say that I tried another toast contraption that chef recommended to me, which was toast with cheese and drizzled Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. I will never be able to say these British terms.
Worcestershire.
Damn, I'm
Yeah,
finding
that's
T-ball on Amazon.
tea
There's so much shit
ball.
out
What?
there. It's a little glass. It's like a little bottle, and it's got these pill-shaped tea bits. I guess just concentrated tea.
Oh, yeah, I cannot imagine that something, the soul of stuff gets lost, I think, in freeze-dried things or like other instant stuff. Instant coffee loses some of it.
That reminds me because somebody was claiming yesterday that instant coffee tastes bad because you don't prepare it right, because you're first supposed to
That's
dissolve it in a
bullshit.
bit of cold water and then you pour the hot water.
That's copium. That is pure copium.
Have you tried
No.
it?
No, I have not tried doing it like that. Why would that make any difference?
I don't know, but that's what this person was claiming.
I mean, I've wanted to buy instant coffee. It's just that instant coffee, because it's so much coffee, is really expensive. But I mostly wanted to get it because I wanted to make dalgona coffee, which
What's
is
that?
something incredibly unhealthy. It was like a trend food a few years ago, I think. But you take instant coffee because it has no particles in it. That's important because that way you can add sugar and you whip it up into a cream. That you cannot do that with normal coffee because there's always tiny particulates in it that break down the bubbles. So you use instant coffee. And then you make a very thick foam of coffee, sugary coffee, and you blob that onto a glass of milk. And it's just, yeah, it's just like a dessert coffee cream thing.
But I don't really understand the consistency of this and like the ratios.
I'm not giving you a recipe. I'm telling you how it's done.
Because
If you
that
want
just
to
sounds like
do
you
it,
put
you should look it up.
some coffee cream on top of something, and that's it.
You make like a big old, you take a whisk and you make a big old amount of coffee cream. It's kind of like a meringue.
Yeah, so it's kind of like if you put whipped cream there, but instead of whipped cream, it's coffee whip.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And yeah, you put that on milk because, you need the milkiness to make it into a dessert, kind of. I mean, you could probably eat the cream
But
itself.
the milk isn't like foamed or anything, or what?
No, it's just milk, just cold milk. It's not a hot drink, it's a cold drink.
I see.
Yeah.
I mean, it
And it's
sounds
just,
interesting.
yeah, it's just very sweet.
I see
It's not
people
hard
also
to make.
making matcha versions.
I don't know why, but I had a weird stint on TikTok where I kept getting TikToks of people saying that the matcha in Japan is so different. It's so different. I don't know why. Yeah, sure, okay. Doesn't do doesn't help. I've bought matcha from an Asian shop. I don't know why it would be so much different. It was good. Like I had no complaints. The matcha that you get at like Starbucks is not as good. Yeah, that's true. But it's also a pain in the ass to make.
But literally, you sound like you're kind of confirming that Japanese matcha is better.
It sounded like you have to travel to Japan to enjoy matcha. That's what people were saying. It's like, what do you mean? Surely you can import matcha from Japan and it's just as good. It's also this whole thing of wine that you have on vacation to bring it home, to enjoy it home, to bring a bit of vacation back with you. And it doesn't taste as good because there's a lot of sensory stuff that happens to make stuff special.
Yeah, but is it so then it's more like you have to be there
Yeah. You need the no worrying about work.
and
Maybe
you have
a
to
nice
be in the
sunset.
space
The
that.
air smells different.
Mhm.
It's not so polluted, maybe something like that. I mean, those are all factors into enjoying something that is like an olfactory in sensation.
Yeah, but then it's not just about the taste or the product anymore. It's about the mental state, the
For
like
sure, it's also that.
combination of all the other senses. And it's like, okay, I understand, but I don't. What's your point? I mean, not everybody's gonna be able to go and jump on a plane and go to Japan to drink matcha right now.
That wasn't my point. My point was just that it reminded me of the matcha thing.
I mean, when I said "What's your point," I meant the people who were saying this,
Oh,
not like
yeah.
you
It's just
specifically.
the wanting to make a TikTok so people react to it because they need to be heard. I don't know.
Yeah, I also want to be heard sometimes.
Well, maybe travel to Japan and have some matcha then. Maybe that's the capstone of this podcast. If you want to be heard out there on the internet, maybe travel to Japan, have some matcha, and make a TikTok about it because nobody has done that so far. It needs to be said, obviously. Maybe make a TikTok about Chris Brown hanging from the rafters and singing because I've not seen like 20 people make that video from this concert like a week ago. I don't want to get into that. Or maybe say Huac Tour and get a reality TV show like a week later.
Oh
Do
god,
that.
that was another topic that we kind of
We
managed to
yeah,
avoid.
glad yeah. We managed to avoid that. Instead, we talked about the origin of PU55Y.
PU55 yeah. We sure did.
Anyway, it's too warm now. This is the end. I'm sweaty. I need to
It's the
open my
end of
window again.
days.
I'm
Yeah.
glad my neighbors didn't hear me talking about pussy. Yeah.
Maybe that's the only time they would ever get some in their life though. We would deny them.
Oh. Used to have a neighbor that I knew was getting some because I heard it.
Oh
Now it's been a long
god.
time.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, please release me.
I release you.
Into the void I go. Thanks for listening.